start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashon Yahushua, Bashon Kakwadash. I want to give double honor to the Apostle Jim Savulafel. Peace, blessings, salutations to the whole select out there. Shouting for our return of our Lord, Yahushua, which is the so-called black man from the tribe of Judah, which is going to come back and it was going to come back to destroy America, aka Babylon the Great, and throw down these Edomites, which are the so-called biblical whites. The biblical Edomites, which are the so-called white men today. As a title, the effects of sexual promiscuity. Was watching a couple of videos about, what is it? I was watching Jeremy Hill and, different videos I just see on my timeline that come across. And you have men like Kevin Samuels and different guys that talks about and broadcasts and show the effects of what has happened to the so-called blacks, the family structure, which goes back to Esau, going back into the days of slavery, which we're still in, and how he uses feminism, sexual promiscuity to destroy the family, going into a lot of insecurities that the so-called white man taught our women, and plus our women being spoils of war and them being defenseless and having, no defense, because the so-called white man stripped the so-called black man from any power or structure or protection. So now what we see today is just a nation started from the so-called black man down to the so-called Mexicans are just open for attack. No structure, there's no order, no military, no funds, no money, no nothing. Prior to civil rights, we saw a lot of our people that wanted our own, banks, money, jobs, our own place, our own dwelling quarters, separated from the so-called white man. But so-called white man said, you got to be integrated so we can push this new world order. But what we're seeing now is a lot of so-called black women going and sit down in their cars and broadcasting their dysfunction. Now I put in harmful effects of sexual promiscuity, and this is being very sexual, hypersexual was taught to the so-called black man, but you were an object, and also the so-called black woman. And now so-called black women and black men being the face of sex, of all sorts of degeneracy, we are now feeling the harmful effects of what our parents, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandfathers, grandparents have done. And us being given all sorts of ideologies, philosophies, and ways that destroy us. We're witnessing the destruction of our people. So it says sexual promiscuity can have several harmful effects, including a heightened risk of contracting sexually transmitted infections. And that's when you look into the statistics, our people are very known for STDs, unattended pregnancy. And this is what you're seeing a lot today. A lot of so-called black women going into their cars and ranting their frustration and their pain and their agony. Now, it was a reason why fathers gave their daughters to men. And it was the reason why the fathers kept a sure watch over their daughters. What we see today is not normal. Women are just picking, able to do what they want, gad abroad. That's not, anybody that has sense When a woman can just sit there and knowing that men, well, yes, we are, how you say, we love women and we love sex. One thing that um, our power, Yahweh told us is to be fruitful and multiply. But the thing about it is us being over sexualized and being promoted and, how you say, extorted, we've been, turned inside out. So a lot of men now, you know, they taught the so-called black man is to be a third leg, how you say, sex machine. And then they created the so-called black woman to just be a promiscuous whore. Basically, she's the new Marilyn Monroe. And I remember growing up in the 90s, a lot of so-called black women idolized her, you know. Just like at one point in time, the Edomite woman, the so-called white woman, was known as being the most nastiest, most abominable, the most degenerate whore. But now the so-called black woman has taken that title. And this is, again, we're seeing the harmful effects of it. So this is why herpes, when you go to, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, big cities and small cities, the so-called black woman is rampant with STDs and so-called black men. And it says unattended pregnancies. And this is why, you know, one thing that can, a lot of things affects the mind, you know, uh, great molestation, which is how it happened to a lot of our people. But one thing that, that's you just can't, you know, how you say this out, basically just get rid of is pregnancy. Now, there's a lot of women of ours that has, how you say, had children with many men and burnt a lot of bridges. A lot of things that a woman done out of spite, um, to get back, etc. Their own purpose, whatever. And when you really look at look at it, it was due to basically this being lost. A lot of children was born off of weed, alcohol, drugs, and partying. And again, this was a harmful effect. Then it says emotional distress, potential damage to relationships, decreased self-esteem, and in some cases, social stigma dependent on cultural norms. It can also be linked to increased alcohol and substance use in some individuals. And this is why a lot of times the so-called black woman smokes a lot of cigarettes and weed, use cocaine, etc., and use pills. A lot of pain. And this is why it does, you know, it's very irksome and very, I mean, to be honest with you, man, the so-called black woman is kind of, if you had any sense, you better, if you're gonna deal with one, you better really, how you say, damn, what's the word? Eh, Uh, I can't even think of the word. Basically, you better do a lot of tests on her. One good book to read as well is Shahrazad Ali. It's the yellow book. She has two of them. One is green. It's for the woman to understand the man, and then the yellow one is for the man to understand the so-called black man understand the so-called black woman. And one thing she said in that book, you better put the so-called black woman through a lot of trials and tests before you put a baby in her, and before you even want to deal with her. Because again, you have a lot of these effects that are affecting her mind. So it's a health risk. The most significant risk in contracting STIs is having multiple sexual partners, increases the likelihood of exposure to infections like chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, HIV, and others. It says psychological effects, and we understand the so-called black woman and uh, Hispanic Latino woman because they're increasing as well through them. Psychological effects. It says emotional distress, engaging in casual sex without emotional connection can lead to feelings of guilt, emptiness, and regret. potentially impacting mental health. And you're seeing that every day. But see, this was one of the greatest tools that Esau used on us was our sexuality. And I'm going to get this after I read these articles. Low self-esteem, and we already know the so-called black woman has a high amount of low self-esteem. So when she's burnt out and turned out, have indulged in drugs, a lot of men, and also in dabbling in homosexuality, a lot of times death just needs to happen. Like the scripture says, death is better than death is better than continued sorrow. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that. Death is better than sorrow. And a lot of times, majority of these so-called black women, they really just want to die, but they're not going to tell you. Um, Even the so-called black men, a lot of them just want to die. And this is why they use drugs. This is why they do certain things. This is why they're willing to crash out because their life of indulging in a lot of things, sexual immorality, etc. But this lesson here is focused on sexual immorality, which the scripture talks about staying away from. But living underneath black culture, Latino, Hispanic culture, we've been seduced by it. So this is not it. Damn, Salaki. Matter of fact, let me get in the show. Let me just put in Sirach. Ecclesiasticus 30 and 17. This is death is better than a bitter life or continual sorrow, continual sickness. Matter of fact, I'm start at 16. Matter of fact, 14. Sirach 30 and 14. Better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution than a rich man that is afflicted in his body. And a lot of our people, they seek to be rich, but they don't even understand what true riches is in that case as well. 15. Health and good estate of the body are above all gold. So one of the most important things to of taking care of yourself is your mental health. If your mental is messed up, everything else is going to deplete with it, including your body. And a strong body above infinite wealth. There is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the no joy above the joy of the heart. I mean, the heart is your la'ah, meaning your mind. And this is why when you go around, the majority of our people is constant negativity and hurt and pain. That's why a lot of times our people can't go to sleep unless they do wickedness and destruction and evil because their mind is corrupt, because they're sick. Verse 17, death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness, man. So a lot of times, majority of our people, they just want to go. That's why they're crashing out. And this is why they do certain things, do a lot of degenerate things, because really they just want to be put down. And I mean, according to the law, a lot of things that our people have done, technically you would have been put down because you don't want that evil amongst our people because like the saying is, hurt people. So going back to low self-esteem, some individuals may experience decreased self-worth due to feeling like a sexual object in casual encounters, which hurts women. Relationship issues, promiscuity can lead to difficult forming healthy, trusting relationships, including jealousy. And we all know what Esau have done. Let me see, jealousy of women. Let me see what scriptures coming up right here. So yeah, Sirach 26 and 6. Sirach 26 and 6. But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman. And Esau as he also heightened that as well due to the TV shows that he puts on TV. Thus, a lot of women basically nitpicking each other, and this is why you have this thing today, which is heightened. Women aren't really competing anymore for men. They're competing against each other. Thus, you have a lot of this bullshit going on with women. So this is why, when you mention anything about a man having more than one woman, it's just it just comes a shouting game, because a woman are really they really truly hate each other. But that's heightened by Esau. It says, but a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous of another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth with all. And this is why, that's another reason why our nation will never get nowhere neither. Because all technicality, polygamy is really better for women. Because hey, there you go, you not all the burden is put on you, you know. So and then when you also mention that, what does the nigga woman say? If a man can do it, why can't I do it? Why maybe I want to, nigga. Well, let's go back to the harmful effects. Stigma, social consequences, depending on cultural norms, engaging in promiscuous behavior. And one thing about our culture, our true culture, we're Hebrew Israelites. So the Yahweh Shem Shah gave us laws and statutes and commandments. So we're holy. So we're not even supposed to be indulging in this, nothing like this. Our women are supposed to be arranged marriages and given to righteous men. But here in America, anything flies. And with all this so-called liberalism and freedom and liberty, look what has happened to the mindsets of these people. When you come to America, America is known for the most like mind-broken people ever on the face of the earth. Because you don't have shit like this that goes on in other countries. I mean, you have it, but it's a very severe punishment. Shalaki. Let me hold off on this. Let me go ahead and get Romans 1. Let me hold that. So stigma, depending on cultural norms, engaging in promiscuous behavior may be stigmatized and lead to social isolation. Reputational damage. Public perception of promiscuity can impact personal and professional life. Yeah, it does, And then these same women that have been ran through, now they want, here it is, you've been doing porno-like behavior, and now you want everything to be taken off the air, and now you want to find a man. No, it just doesn't work like that. Really, in all actuality, when you look at our grandmothers, they had children in their teens, 12, starting at 12 on up, and they had husbands. Here it is, you got this whole heightened thing. A man has to have 100, make 200, 300, 400, 500,000, $1 million a year. But, we never had money as a nation. We was always poor. We came from slavery, We were put in slavery, etc. And, we've been attacked ever since we got over here into the hands of the so-called white man. So when did this ideology come through? Come, it was very recent, It's this whole basically it's just a push for promiscuity. This is why a lot of women now, when they deal with men, they have a in one foot in, one foot out mindset, because they use a lot of men for stepping stones to get to another man that they want. They eventually try to come across this man that has infinite wealth and money. But again, all this destroys everything. When men realize this is how women are moving, men again, they just say the hell with it. What you're seeing, which they should, because America, the least they use these women to destroy the households and the family. And another thing too, these men, uh, not understanding that these men pretty much, especially I'm talking about the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Hispanics, to hell with the other nations of the men. Esau been doing that to his own people, but what Esau does, he hypersexualizes the so-called black man and pretty much cuts his nuts in the same time to pretty much make him worship his woman. And but he able to basically he's like a dog without no teeth. He allows you to be big and strong, able to build and create, but you're not able to roar or bark or bite and talk about the injustice of what's going on, what's really going on to his people. So basically, as long as you're building and you're not talking about your own or your own sustainability, then hey, it is what it is. So going back to unintended pregnancy, engaging in unprotected sex with multiple partners significantly increases the risk of unwanted pregnancy. Um, in individual variations, the impact of sexual promiscuity can vary depending on individual personality, values, and sexual health practices. Um, so, having multiple sexual partners is linked with risks such as maternal deaths, complications, cancers, STI, infection, alcohol and substance use, and social condemnation in some societies. And that's what you're seeing. Real quick, hold on. Real quick. But some research, including results, indicates that this is in psychology today, indicates that a promiscuous lifestyle can be detrimental to mental health. Casual sex can have a damaging dark side and may come at a psychological cost. This should give pause for thought. Um, just take a little snippets. So, in contrast, other studies indicate that casual sex is associated with worse mental health. For example, another large U.S. study found that people engaging in casual sex reported decreased well-being, self-esteem, and life satisfaction, as well as increased psychological distress and depression symptoms. Um, Interestingly, this study found no difference between men and women, though other research indicates that men are more likely to report that casual sex is a positive emotional experience. Uh, I'm gonna let that be. But going to what is that at Romans 1, starting at verse 25. I'm gonna start at verse 26. So Romans 1 and 26, because they do this, Yahweh has given them over to shameful passions. Even the women pervert the natural use of their sex by unnatural acts. In the way the men give up natural sexual relationships with women and burn with passion for each other, men do shameful things with each other. And this is why you have a big increase in homosexuality. Because again, It's so much. Well, another thing too is the AI robots. A lot of men are engaging in robots because what Esau and the liberalism and feminism have done to the minds of these women. So these men are just shutting down. But at one point they they created men to be these players and pimps, and pretty much how you say they showed this old color purple aspect for our women. Men were just beating the hell out of women and cheat, having other women and using them and then tossing them away and tossing them aside, which brought in a lot of insecurity to our women. And our women ate that fucking bullshit up, and now they accepted feminism. A lot of our men turning, what is it, going into the disco era, using drugs, etc., and becoming turned out. You know, our women ate that feminism up. So the relationship, the family has been destroyed with it. And a lot of promiscuity, seeped in the so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanic, Native Americans. Thus, a lot of these children being born and not being born into any structure, basically is growing up upon themselves. And that's why you have a lot of stubborn and evil fucking children. Because it what these children weren't born, and a lot of adultery too. A lot of adultery. Men messing with other men's women, and women having men messing around. So men doing shameful things with each other, and as a result, they bring upon themselves the punishment they deserve for their wrongdoing. So it says, because those people refuse to keep in mind the true knowledge about Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, he has given them over to corrupted minds, so that they do the things that they should not do. So, just like I was going into earlier, these people are crashing out. These people are going into their cars, spewing out basically their psychological madness, their mental madness. Really, they want to go, but they're not going to kill themselves. So what they're doing is just, they're attacking and aiming to destroy somebody else, so they can feel their pain, like going into, again, hurt people hurting people. They are filled with all kinds of wickedness, evil, greed, and vice because of what? Sexual promiscuity. They are full. They are full of jealousy, murder, fighting, deceit, and malice. They gossip and speak evil of one another. They are hateful to Yahweh Shai, insolent, proud, and boastful. They think of more ways to do evil. They disobey their parents. They have no conscience. They do not keep their promises, and they show no kindness or pity for others because, again, these people's minds are just evil. They're just mentally crazed. They know that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua's law says that people who live in this way deserve death. Well, another thing too, Esau used Christianity and promoted this madness. Basically said the Lord died for you to do this. And again, since our people have accepted those lies, now you see the effects of it. Yet not only do they continue to do these very things, but they even approve others who do them. So just like Sexy Red, Sukiana, Trina, Lil Kim, they was all down with the plan. Kaya, My Neck, My Back, etc. So let me see. Let me see. First Peter 3:1. Likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may, without the word, be won by the conversation of the wives. But these women, they don't want to be wives, and they don't want to be subjected to their husbands. And one thing about it, you got to realize, a majority of our women they've been ran through. They're fucking whores and sluts. So them having this mindset of, bowing down. And again, remember, these women have seen just too much evil, and they've seen just too much different men. So a lot of times they just gotta go. So the word submitting and being a wife and doing duties to their husband is just too far fetched. Because again, too many men have ruined their conscience. So it says, Proverbs 15:17. So it says, hold on, bear with me one moment. Ephesians 5:22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Yahushua is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Yahushua, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. But again, you also even have women that call themselves Hebrew Israelites and know that they're Hebrew Israelites, but carry on that same bullshit with feminism. But again, that's that promiscuity, that feminism is just a strong. It's but again, I mean, we have many how you say examples of why not to do it. You know, look at what's going on in this world due to the feminism and sexual promiscuity of this world. Everything is dying out, man. Everything is dead. Everything. Clubs, bars, lounges. And really, in all actuality, that's really wasn't a place suitable for men and women to be getting together anyway. Because really, the reason why a lot of these things in America is thriving is because of the dysfunction of a family. Women don't want to cook anymore. Women really don't want to do anything. You don't have women that you just meet up now and be like, yeah, come on, yeah. You mind if I will just cook for you? Just come to my crib. Ain't none of that no more. It's always, I want to go out to eat. Take me out to eat. Take me out to eat. Let's go to get some drinks. Spending money. So again, a lot of times, reason why these things are thriving, these businesses are thriving, is because of dysfunction of the family. Your kids don't have no duties. The women have no duties. Men don't have no duties. Your grandparents have no duties. Nobody has duties. Basically, everybody can just go out and be taken care of. The convenience of America has been a downfall of everybody. But the downfall in the bringing in all this comfortability is because families are broke up. I'm about to wrap it up. There was one more that I wanted to bring forth. Y'all can read Sirach 25 and 26. There's one that I wanted. Damn. Can't think of it. Salaki. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Rose was edified. With that, hey, shalom.